Okay, folks, this is Book Talk with Corbin. I'm your host, and we have a returning guest. Hopefully, very soon, we will be able to say, after a couple more interviews, a longtime friend of the show, Karen Katline. We're going to talk to her about an article that really, the title just jumped out at me. It was published in the Western Journal, June 21, 2021. Please stop saying socialism doesn't work. And so
Yeah.
I knew Ms. Katelin because I'd interviewed her once before. And I said, why would she say something like that? So I said, man, I got to have her on for my guest and to sort of get into that, why she's saying that, and, get some meat off that bone. But before I do, I want to remind our listeners that she does a call-in talk show, Spouting Off. Go to her website, KarenKatline.com, Kataline, and you'll be able to get all the information you need to be able to call in and talk with her, dialogue with her, and listen to other folks. It's a good show. Actually, on our YouTube channel, youtube.com, Book Talk with Corbin, we actually put in the description where you can call a local station here in Louisville, and to say, hey, we want Spouting Off
Ooh.
at our local station.
I love that, Corbin. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
if I had
great.
a little bit more time, sis, I sort of turned it into a crusade, but these summer camps and everything else is just really worn me out. I can't wait till tonight. I mean, I'm really worn out, but I definitely was looking forward to this interview. I didn't care how tired I was going to do this interview. So, sis, let's just jump into it. We only got about 15 minutes or so.
Hey.
Please stop saying socialism doesn't work. What do you mean?
Well, that aggravated a lot of people, and it was a little cheeky, I admit. Mm-hmm. But when I first heard a conservative, and then a lot of other conservatives parroted it, and they said, socialism hasn't worked anywhere it's been tried. And I thought, it always bothered me when they say that. There's a lot of reasons why it bothers me. For one thing, it's putting socialism on a par with all other economic systems, which is what young people have been taught, that, it's just another economic system. It isn't another economic system, because in order for it to work, and socialism does work if you're trying to destroy a country, it does work if you're trying to subjugate people. It requires authoritarianism and totalitarianism and all of that. And that's the scary part, is that kids and adults have not been taught how evil totalitarian regimes are and have always been. And conservatives are afraid to say that it's evil. And the history shows that the genocides that have been caused by narcissistic, arrogant, would-be dictators who think they have a right to tell everyone else how to live is legendary. There's bloody example after every bloody example. And the most horrible things in history have begun by people who think that they can, by force, tell other people how to think and live. And it gives me no pleasure to say, Corbin, that that's what we are facing right now, a growing authoritarian state in this country. I do believe that we jumped the shark with the masks. To me, that was the jump the shark moment in which they unmasked themselves when they started forcing people to put muzzles on their face. And not long after came the hardcore censorship, shutting down of private businesses, putting people out of business, doing fascistic business with big companies who can go in cahoots with the government, but small companies got put out of business. There's nothing American about any of that. Yes. And we should stop saying or even conceding the point that socialism is merely another option. It is not. So we have two jobs. Our first job is to let people know the evils of socialism and not be apologetic about it, and not be afraid to say that anybody who thinks they're better than you and they can tell you how to live. I'll just end with this because I do get on a roll. I do. I'm sorry. And that is that conservatives have conceded the high ground again and again and again. And they do not have to. We do not have to. The most kind, the most altruistic, the most charitable thing, one of the most charitable things you can do in life is to constrain your own power so that other people can have their personal choice and their personal power. And socialism is not compatible with that whatsoever. And what makes it worse, see, I'm going on, what makes it worse is that they couch it in this, we care more than anyone else. We love you. We care about you. We're trying to do what's right by you. So we're going to treat you like a 5-year-old and not allow you to make your own decisions. That's insane, and it's deadly and dangerous. And it reminds me of Snow White and the poison apple. Oh, this is a wishing apple. It's a bright, shiny, beautiful apple, and all you have to do is make a wish on it. You can have anything your heart desires, including falling over and dying. Right.
And let me, as you were going there.
Yeah.
I'm glad you made that point, that many times we hear from the socialist Marxists, the American left, etc. We're doing this. It's the morally right thing to do. And we're going to do this we're going to make this happen whether you like it or not.
Right.
I always thought it's sort of odd contradiction. Well, if it's so good for me, why do you feel it's necessary that you have to force me to do it? Wouldn't I just see for myself? Oh, okay. Well, that is good. Let's do that. Am I making any sense there?
You most certainly are. And I'd go you one better. And that is, even something that's good for you is not good for you if it's forced upon you. Yes, we draw a line when what you're doing would infringe on someone else's rights, but that's not what socialists do. They want to tell you how to live, where to live, how to talk, what to think. This is whole scale dictatorial, do as we say. And because America was founded on the exact opposite of that, they had to do it incrementally over decades. Yeah. But let's use an example. Even, the very food we put in our mouths, they want to control and manipulate. Yes. And even if it is really good, and I've had a weight problem my whole life, if it's really good to be on 1,000 calories a day, and I wrote a book called Fat Lash Food Police and the Fear of Thin, forcing me to do it is going to either have me doing the opposite, or it's going to create so many other problems. So the fact is, the use of force is in no way compassionate in any way. And we have to be willing and able to see that and speak it clearly and stop pussyfooting around. You cannot force people to do what's in their own best interest. They must have a choice in the matter. And I'll say one more thing. A motto that I have, among others, that I came up with. I'm not the most religious person in the world, but God gave us free will. Yes. We should never expect less than that from our government. Right. If God is giving us free will to take responsibility for what we do and the consequences for our actions, then we surely should not expect other men to tell us how to live and what to think.
And it oftentimes strikes me that many times these socialists have emphasized, these socialists, leftists, Marxists, whatever, emphasize security over liberty.
Right.
And, my studies of the United States and my experiences of certain things, people come here for the liberty, the opportunity to make the choices, and for the opportunity. not necessarily for the security or for the security of someone saying, hey, I'm going to guarantee you so much income every year, or I'm going to guarantee you this. Am I sort of hitting that okay? Am I hitting that right? Or am I missing this?
Corbin, absolutely. And what you're saying should give everyone a better understanding of why the hard left in this country, which controls the Democrat Party, a lot of avowed socialists and even communists, it's all sort of the same thing. It's
Yes.
authoritarianism. It's not necessary to get into an academic discussion, but why do you think they're trying to make life so dangerous for us?
Yes.
Why are they constantly fear-mongering about a virus that's 99.86% non-lethal, and yet all they ever do is want to scare you to death? And yet, when people are rioting and looting in the streets, they do nothing. And then they want to disarm you so you will be defenseless. Why is all that happening?
Right.
Because if they can make you as unsafe as possible, you'll be screaming out for them to fix the problem that they created and hand over your liberty. They're the ones that created the problem. When you allow open borders and you don't vet criminals, and you say on the one hand that coronavirus is deadly, we know it's not, but you don't test one illegal alien for coronavirus, and you allow criminals, and you allow criminals out of jail and jail law-abiding citizens. I mean, it's pretty screaming dramatic that they want to make life unsafe for us. So people have to pay attention to that. And I know they do, because they're your listeners. So they do.
Well, talking about listeners, let's touch upon a little bit about your radio program. I mean, is this what we're going to sort of experience? Powerful, thoughtful, provoking. Hey, man, this one's making me think. Wait a minute.
Well, I hope so. My first love is call-in talk radio. You know, when I was 14 years old, I called in to Alan Berg, you know, that the great talk show host who was murdered. And I love talk radio because it is the antithesis of censorship. It is so immediate, and nowhere else, no other medium can you call in and talk to the host and talk about the issues of the day. So while I do talk about whatever's going on, like I moved from Colorado to Texas, and Donald Trump is at the border today with my new governor, Greg Abbott. And we talk about those things on a national and whatever scale. What's even more exciting, and I get to talk to a lot of great guests, is everyday citizens calling in, expressing their opinion, getting ammo so they can talk to their friends and family and whatever, and expand their power of influence in their own communities, because we're having things hoisted upon us that we did not ask for, and they're telling us that we did ask for it. We didn't ask for this.
Absolutely. You're absolutely correct. And we can go to your website, Karen Katelin, spelled KATALINE.com. Get more info about the radio program, the numbers we need to call, to call in and to join you in Spouting Off.
That's right. And Spouting Off is uncensored. That's what makes it great. You don't have to have, I don't care if you agree with me or not. This is America, and express your opinion.
So it's not like your Facebook. You don't do Facebook jail.
No, I don't. Now, I'm going to vociferously argue with you, but that's America, right? And to think that we are afraid of words, and yet we shouldn't be afraid of rioting in the streets, just shows you how twisted and upside down this country has become. We know, we have the common sense to know, what America stands for and what America's all about. So I just encourage all your listeners, number one, it's great to talk to you. And I encourage people to stop censoring themselves and to speak out, because that's what they're afraid